It's season 2 of Beyonding.
Season 2. Can
How
you
are you
believe it?
feeling?
I'm doing well. I am
Yeah,
doing well. I got
yeah.
my yellow on. I got my egg earrings. Look, my
I thought
semi.
those were eggs. I looked at those, I was gonna ask you that. I love it. It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
fun, vibrant color and energy. And, we're season 2. Season 1 was really all about defining what beyonding was, having guests come on and tell about their beyonding experience. We talked about the beyonding retreat, pre and post. Like it was just so much about really embodying what that word meant. And I feel like as we move into this season, I'll get your thoughts on what you're feeling,
Mhm.
but it's really for me, how do we go higher, right? You and I talked
Mm,
about this term frequencies and like elevating frequencies. And then there's just a whole place we can go with that idea and that term, right? But for me, taking Beyonding to season 2 is about that elevation. We understand what it means to go beyond, but then what does it mean to like operate at a higher frequency, right? You arrive beyond, but then operating at that space, like really taking up space in the beyond, that concept is it's just so rich. Like I feel like we'll fill this season up with conversations about what it means to really operate at this space of beyond.
yeah. I'm so looking forward to our conversations. And you're right, like especially in a moment like this where this is crazy. Like, what kind of world are we living in? Like, what in the world is
What
2026? I don't know. I don't know,
Oh,
but it is, the idea of how can we operate on a higher plane at our highest selves, or at least a
mhm.
higher version of ourselves, and stay there. Number 1 is a lot to ask, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, that part. Mhm, mhm.
And, given this moment in time and what's happening in the world, and at the same time, I do believe it's what is available to us. And I do believe that is part of, those of us who know that our presence on this planet is for a purpose greater than ourselves. I
Yeah,
believe we came here for it. So,
yeah,
let's explore together. I'm looking forward to exploring with people, with guests, with each other, what that could look like and what is possible for us.
mhm. What is possible, what that could look like. I mean, you talked about what's going on in the world, and not only is it hard to operate at that level, but I almost feel like it's a requirement. It's like a
Yeah.
calling to operate at that level for those who feel called, right, to
Yeah.
this great work, and to be leaders, to be lights, to be beacons of lights when the world feels like it's chaotic. It's For me as a 41-year-old woman, I would argue it is the craziest it's ever felt for me. And I
Mm.
know there's levels of awareness. I've probably, arrived as I got older. Like I'm sure my awareness is higher. And so it probably feels heavier, but I also think that it is heavier.
Yeah.
The conversations I have with people, older generations, younger, like this moment in time feels like some of the craziest times we've been in.
Yeah.
We're experiencing what I feel is people just completely disconnected from truth, and they're okay with it, seemingly, right? People are seemingly okay with being completely disconnected from what I feel like is grounding truth, just core ethics and morality and things that I think all human beings could agree is just morally sound. We're so disconnected from it, it's almost like we've normalized being crazy. Like, people are
Mhm.
crazy, Kylie.
Like, for real, for real. And, it's so it's easy to believe that we are all regressing or that the world is regressing because of what we're seeing out there.
Yes. Help
There's
me see differently.
yes.
Help me out. Help.
Yes, and so this is what I hear, what
Okay.
I'm hearing from the enlightened ones.
Yes.
The enlightened ones are saying that what we're seeing play out is actually showing us what also is happening in direct proportion in terms of our elevation of consciousness. So just as
Oh.
Yes. So just
Oh.
as it feels like we're regressing to the depths of the depths, we're also expanding in our levels of a consciousness at the
Oh,
same yes,
that's
at the
good.
same time.
And I feel that. That's so good. I never made that comparison. So, the ones that are going higher, those that are choosing to go low are going lower, right?
Yes.
At the same extremities.
Yeah. And
It's
and think about it, like, some of the conversations that we, in our work, we've been talking about for years
mm,
are starting to become mainstream.
mhm,
And that didn't have I mean, I remember when
mhm,
I would talk
mhm.
about meditation, I would lead a meditation in a leadership development,
Mm.
session, and people would be like, "I've never meditated before." And
Yes.
now I see people have going to sound baths and Reiki practitioners and getting
Yeah.
their auras, read and
Yes.
talking about collective consciousness. And it's still, some of that is more mainstream than others, but even, if it's not completely mainstream, it's more prevalent. There are more of these
Absolutely.
conversations than I know I was having, 10, 20 years ago.
Absolutely. It is shaking up the status quo. It is inviting to those who are open to it, right?
Right.
Inviting spirit.
Yeah.
Like, it's inviting spirit into places where historically, typically, it had not been invited or comfortable. And I think that's for me, it's just soul soothing because
Mhm.
I truly believe we are spirit before we're physical. And
Yes.
I feel like we ignore that, like the same ways in which we nurture our mental selves and our physical selves, right? With diet and exercise, mental with you mentioned, meditation or even reading or things like that. We should also nurture our spirit selves. And I think
Yeah.
that goes or has often went just unnurtured. And
Mhm.
sometimes it's uncomfortable because you're talking about something you can't see. Like, can we go there? Like the
Yeah.
spirit, it's something you can't
Yeah.
see. It's uncomfortable to talk about something you can't see.
Yeah. But
But
that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And it kinda goes back to that same thought. I'm gonna connect these 2. The way it may seem crazy, right, for people to really be into spiritual things because you can't see it, is the same level of craziness I'm seeing in this presidency for people, like, investing and believing in something they can see that is just absolutely absurd to me.
Right. Right. Right.
I
Right.
just don't, I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
I
But
know.
I feel a calling. I feel that the things we can't see or often even explain, we feel like there's other ways that we can just know, like we have knowings. There's
Mhm.
ways we can know that there is something greater, even if we can't quote unquote see it.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you nurturing your spirit? What have you been doing lately to nurture your spirit
Mhm.
during these crazy times?
Yeah. So I have withdrawn, and this is not new, but I've continued to withdraw from news, consuming a lot of news. And I often have this conversation with people and about, well, how do you stay informed and all of these things? I stay informed. because it still finds its way. I don't go
Mhm.
seeking the news, especially in the way that it's presented to us, which I think is by design very negative and fear-ridden. So I do read and I listen to podcasts, and that's the way I choose to get informed about things going on. But just turning on the TV and consuming news, I don't do that. So I've withdrawn from that. Um, the way I add and nurture my spirit is my sacred mornings. And so I talk to people about how I have slow, sacred mornings and a
Ooh,
slow
talk about your slow
Mhm.
sacred mornings. What do you do? Tell me
A
more.
slow sacred morning for me typically consists of meditation, which I don't know if people know, Kylie, but I actually adapted that practice from you. I don't know if
Hmm.
you knew that, but I
I don't
actually
know if I knew
yes,
that.
I adapted that practice from you way back when you led a leadership program that I was a part of. And, so meditation has become a huge part of my life. Journaling, I've always journaled, and so I consistently journal. It's a way that I process feelings and emotions and just thoughts. And then I typically have, like, some sensory things, so some smells or tastes, so hot tea, incense, or a candle burning, like, I like to also nurture, like, my senses,
Mm,
warm, fuzzy socks, a blanket, and so I create my sacred mornings with just really tapping into my senses, nurturing and calming my nervous system with the meditation and the stillness, and then the journaling helps me process, and then I typically have some type of movement. So if it's not yoga, and I try to do yoga 3 times a week, I go on a walk. I have, like, a nature trail behind where I live, and I take a 15-minute walk as often as I can. And so those are my mornings. I at least commit 15 minutes. If I don't have a long 45-minute hour, which is, like, ideal, I commit at least 15 minutes every day before I pick up my phone, respond to a text or an email, or talk to anyone. I'm talking to
mm.
God, I'm connecting to nature, I'm slowing down, and I'm being with myself, and it just it fills my spirit. It fills my spirit.
Ah, I love that. I love that. So many important practices in that.
Mhm.
You know, what I hear is, you know, your calming number 1 is the devotion to self.
Yeah.
Like, you are giving yourself the best part of you in the beginning of the day. You are
Mhm.
creating that foundation. You are getting out in nature. You're centering your nervous system. You're processing your, you know, even from a neuro uh a brain perspective.
Mhm.
Perimenopause, y'all. Perimenopause, that's a whole nother
And
conversation.
Kylie, I
That's a
wanted to help
whole
you, but I
nother
couldn't even help you. I was like, "Neuro, yeah, yeah." Neuro, if you just said
neuroscience. You said
neuro
neuro,
and
you know
left
what
it,
I mean.
I
You
would have been with you. I was there.
from a neuroscience perspective. You know, we need executive functioning, like, in order to make good decisions, and
Mm,
especially in the work we do when we're being so present with people, if our brains are bogged down, then
mm,
it's hard for us to be as present. It's hard for us to have the clarity to meet each moment, to hold space.
yeah,
So things like journaling, things like meditation, this is not just a, you know, "Oh, it feels good" thing. This is scientific as well.
yeah,
And it's nurturing,
yeah.
and it's nourishing, and it doesn't cost a thing. I mean, you
Mm,
might need to buy a journal, but, you know, you can
right.
even get some of those for free. So,
Yes.
you know, I just love that you give yourself that
Mm.
devotion every morning.
It feels good. I can always tell when I'm off. If there's ever a morning where I just can't do that for whatever reason, I feel it. Like, I feel it.
Mhm.
It feels like
Yeah.
a rushed full day. I'm usually very exhausted by the end of those days where I didn't start slow, and my commitment is that I give myself time. Like Oprah's podcast, I used to love how she started it. She said, "The greatest gift is time. The greatest gift is time." And you can
Mm,
interpret that in many ways. In this moment, I'm interpreting that as my greatest gift to myself in the morning is my time.
that's
And I know
beautiful.
it when I don't give it to myself.
It's the most precious resource. It's the
Yeah.
most precious resource.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about you? How are you nurturing your
Mm.
spirit?
Mm. A lot of similar things. You know, I will say I haven't, my mornings are shorter in terms of, the practices, although, I do want to expand that now that the school year is coming to an end when we're recording this, I'm going to have some additional time, maybe not as there'll be more space, I would say,
Mhm,
to elongate the mornings a bit. I've
mhm,
deliberately had, created some more space in the summer months, but my meditation practice is just, it's a daily thing. I have to do that.
mm,
I've noticed lately that, I've had a pretty intense few months.
mm,
So, I might just get 7-10 minutes in the morning, and I'm feeling like that's not enough. Like,
mhm.
I was thinking about that this morning. Like, I did a short meditation and I felt like, ooh, I need some hour meditations. Like,
Ooh,
my nervous system was what I just could tell. Like, it was saying,
yeah,
"Girl, you need some more than this. You need more than
yeah,
this."
yeah, to re-regulate
So
it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I have been, um I've been pretty good about my walks, like, just trying to get walks in, even if they're short term. Yesterday, we were talking before we started recording, and I had 8 meetings yesterday and tried to
Ooh.
put on a ninth. Crazy. Like, I do not, like, do not do this at home. Like, no.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
what happened?
Mhm.
But even with that, I remember you and I had a meeting yesterday, and
Yeah.
it ended a little bit earlier than we expected, so I took 7 minutes just to walk outside to get some vitamin D, to
Yes,
get some fresh air, to be outside. You
yes.
said you mentioned you live close to a nature trail. I live close
Mhm,
to a park, and
mm.
so just being outside makes
Yep.
a difference. Oh
Yes, it
my gosh,
does.
especially working from home.
Mhm.
I also have been choosy. I've
Yeah.
been choosy on the conversations that I
Ooh,
have,
ooh, how you
and
do that? What's that mean?
I think, I am I'll be turning 50 next month.
Kylie, I'm so
Yes.
excited.
And
Oh, big.
I keep hearing about the 50s being like, you have no more Fs to give. And I
Come
think I'm
on,
just all
50.
out. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm all out. I'm out, like, there are a few they're lingering,
Yeah.
but in less than 30 days, they're gonna be gone. So so it has become easier with time to, have greater standards about what I allow myself to engage
Mhm.
with and who.
Yeah.
And I remember my my brother
Mhm.
saying once, he's like, "You don't mess with some people in the family." And it's like, "No, I love our family.
Mhm.
I love our family, and if they're listening, I love y'all. I love every one of y'all." But and also, there's w it w time is precious.
Yeah,
Time is precious.
yeah,
And so there are certain conversations that I
yeah.
don't want to engage with because I am here for a purpose, And I have responsibilities with my family, with my,
Mhm.
the people with whom I work, my clients,
Mhm.
the greater people of the world. And I
Yeah,
know I came here for a time such as this and having, random conversations that are, that will only go in one direction is not going to help me or anybody else.
I hear and feel all of that, and time is our most precious gift,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm. I
Yes.
get that.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
so good. I love all of that. I love all of that. I have another question.
Ooh.
What's coming up for me is we're in season 2 of this amazing podcast. We're gonna have some amazing guests, y'all, by the way, too. It's gonna be good. What are you bringing, Kylie Carr, to season 2? Like, what lessons have you learned since season 1,
Mhm.
and what are you bringing to this season?
Well, I think, this is actually beyond what I'm bringing to season 2 and what I feel like who I am in this season of life.
Hmm,
What I'm learning, what I am being called towards, what is yearning for me
yeah.
is elevation, like, and elevation on many fronts. So you were talking earlier about elevation or about frequency. So
Yeah.
there's a more a deliberacy in operating at a high frequency,
Mm,
right? Like wanting to be there, wanting to stay there, um, and operating from a higher place. Like I
mhm.
want to do that more, and I want to practice that more.
Yeah,
So I know what it feels like to be more sustained there, knowing that we're all human and life
yeah,
lifes and all of that, and we, fluctuate and all of that stuff.
yeah.
Um, I also have been, there are a few just very resonant truths for me that have come to my spirit lately. One is this desire to or even it's more than a desire, it's deeper than a desire. It's like a life truth around going empty. Like I want to leave
Mm,
this earth empty. I want to leverage and use every gift, every blessing, every experience. I want to do what I came to why I came here. Like, I wanna
mhm.
do everything that I came here for. I want to be all that I can be, all that I was designed to be, and, operate at as the highest version of myself. So, going back to this idea of practicing, I am practicing what does it mean to be my highest self? Like,
Yeah.
really choose to be that every day, and I'm not saying that I've chosen that yet, but this is what
Ah, well, because it is a process, right? It's not
Yeah,
gonna happen overnight, right? You're about to turn
yeah.
50, and some of the things that we've learned, like I borrowed this prayer, if you will, from one of our good friends, Gia Peppers, and I heard her say it was actually an activity we did at a conference we just recently came from, and after the conference, we had a little time to spend at the beach, and we've learned that the ocean, when you give it to Mother Ocean, she doesn't give it back. So if you have to release something, right? Go send it to the water, send it to the ocean. The ocean doesn't give it back. And be honest and sincere when you're releasing it, right? So what I heard Gia say was, I release the behaviors and habits that I formed while I still had a lesser version or vision of myself. And
Wow.
I have carried
Wow.
that. She probably doesn't even know or remember she said it. It
It wasn't even her, that was God
wasn't even
speaking
her,
through her.
right? But
Yeah.
I have carried that with me. I've taken that as my prayer. Like, I am going to release those habits and behaviors I formed. They got me to where I needed. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate and the deepest gratitude for them, those behaviors that I formed when I had a lower version or vision of myself. Yeah. And so as you talked about, you're not there yet because it is a process, right?
Yeah.
You formed all of these behaviors and patterns to get you where you are. And so now you're elevating into a different season and version of yourself. And so it's a release. It's a letting go. I also adapted this philosophy, if you will, recently that growth requires loss. Growth requires loss. And you always
Yeah,
say there's an ow in the middle of growth for a reason. Like
that's
loss
right.
can be painful
That's right. And necessary.
and
And
necessary.
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 Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. So with that,
Wow.
Kylie, what do
Wow.
you think you've got to let go of to
Mm.
really embody this higher version of yourself? What do you need to let go of?
Wow. The word that's coming to my mind and spirit right now is resistance,
Oh, oh my
right?
gosh. So I'm reacting because that is what I have been oh my gosh. I
No, no, tell me.
so we have a friend in common, Miriam, and Miriam and I went bike riding a couple days ago because that's, just getting outside
I
and
love it.
playing. Miriam's thing is play. So she
Yes,
heals with play. And if you don't know Miriam, check her out in season
yes.
1.
Season 1.
She's amazing. And I had this conversation with her, and I'm not taking away from because I want to hear your version of it, but I just want to pin this that I told her what I am dealing with right now is resistance. I just 2 days ago. That was the
Wow.
revelation I got of what I have to let go is resistance. So how does that look for you?
I don't know, that's just what came to me, and it's funny, so we're gonna go here, we're gonna go
Let's go
here.
here.
So, it my husband and I have been having this conversation about collective consciousness, and
Ooh,
so that is a whole whole 'nother sidebar. He is not usually the one to talk about things like this, and
okay.
so now me on the other hand, I on the other hand all the time, right?
You live
And
there.
so that's where I live. And so, this idea that there is this collective consciousness that we all can tune into.
Mm,
And so these moments where synchronicities happen, synergies happen, I talk about how there are no such things as coincidences. It's just,
mhm,
when you are present and meeting the moment, when you are tapped in, tuned in, turned on,
mm,
things like this happen. And so sometimes we're able to receive things that and download things with clarity that are divine, right? And I also wonder, like in this circumstance, like, is this really for me? Is it for us? Was I
mm.
tuning into what you
'Cause listen,
like?
that was
And
the
I don't
word.
know.
Or even our listeners. Like,
Yeah.
somebody's like, "Oh my god, that's what it
They
is. I didn't
right,
have
I
a
was just
word."
thinking about that, and then they said the word. So, I'm curious,
Mm.
like, now I'm in a place of curiosity, like, "Okay, that word came to me. I'm gonna sit with that." Like, what does now when I'm sitting with that in this moment, what's coming to mind for to me is there there is a higher calling that I that has been placed on my life that I have not been embodying.
Mhm.
And by nature of me not embodying, there's likely some resistance there that I need to address.
Mm, mm.
So yeah, I'm going to sit with that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about you going back
Yeah.
to, what you were asking me about what, how you have been different, how you
Mhm.
grown since last season? Like, what
Mhm.
are what are some of the things that come to mind for you?
You know, I realized that the word patterns and behaviors stood out to me even when I talked about this prayer of releasing patterns and behaviors that I built to get me here.
Mhm.
I realized that I encounter oftentimes the same tests, maybe at different levels in life. They look a little different, but they're similar tests because I have patterns and behaviors and things that keep showing up for me. Um, and so I have grown and some of the same tests, Kylie, keep presenting themselves. Um, so what I will say as
I have
far
a
as
question with related to that. Is that are they really tests or are they lessons?
I'm sure there are lessons that come with tests, maybe.
Mhm. Or opportunities to learn lessons.
Yeah,
Because it
opportunities.
makes it makes me think of how, Oprah years ago would talk about how, we might get a little poke, then a little nudge, and then
Yeah.
a brick upside your head, and then the
Ooh,
whole house comes falling down when
yep.
we don't learn it.
Yeah.
So is that what you're
Yeah.
feeling?
Absolutely. It's what I'm feeling. The growth that I have made is absolutely in the space of self-awareness. It's
Mm,
it's I am very aware and clear of who I am, and sometimes it scares me, as well as um just the calling on my life. So I think I've grown in that. Just the clarity around it has definitely grown stronger in me and it's more rooted and grounded. So there's that. The test or the opportunities, I like that. The opportunities that keep presenting themselves are opportunities for me to be more vocal and visible about this calling, right? I have a calling to share truth and light to the world in a way that's hopeful and um, positive and joyful. And I also, the light that I have is a way for people to see themselves. It helps illuminate around me so people can see themselves, like that light, that gift. And so I'm aware of it. And then I sometimes choose not to do the thing, right? I choose to play small or even sometimes take on other people's challenges or other
ooh.
people's whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm occupied with that and I can beat my chest of all these things and amazing things I'm doing for others and how I am showing up and all of these things. And yet, even though it looks good, and I've been really good at showing up a certain way, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing great things." But I'm not doing the thing that I'm called to do, or I'm not doing it at the level that I know my potential lies. And so maybe only I know, or those that are deeply spiritual that are around me that pick up on it right away. Um, but that's the thing that keeps coming up for me is this idea of like really, really stepping into this power and this calling, not playing small, operating at this higher frequency, at this higher level, staying in the beyonding, right?
Yeah.
That's what's coming up for me. The growth is there, the clarity is there, and I'm gonna bring that to season 2. And I'm gonna be on this journey along with the listeners and along with you and us to really, really step into my voice, my power.
Mm. Like, The only thing that comes to mind right now, or the what is in my mouth right now about to come out is God is so intentional.
Hmm.
Because what you said was everything that I've been feeling.
Mm.
And so, like, we didn't talk about this before we
Mm-mm, we
this
should.
is
Let me
not
just let the listeners know the way Kylie and I prep is like, "Hey, girl, what time can you record?" Okay,
Mhm.
it's a little more than that,
Yeah,
but
let spirit show up. I mean, we did do some
we,
preparation, but,
yeah, we did.
we allowed enough space to let spirit in, and what is so present for me is why we are here doing this together.
Mm,
We have very similar callings. We have very similar gifts. We
mm,
have similar, um resistance, like, so the resistance that would like, it really is both of us because
yeah.
it's the same. So, what I think is so beautiful though, Myra, is that here we are on a podcast, sharing
Mm.
our voice, bringing the light, illuminating ourselves, illuminating other people, like, we're doing it, and I'll just speak for me right now. This is not like, this is okay, we doing this. It still feels a
Mhm.
little safe.
Mm. Ooh, ooh, ooh,
I
say
mean, I'm
more.
just speaking for myself. I'm just speaking for myself. It's it's a thing, it's not the thing. And now we've just said it out loud. We've
Yeah, you
said it out
did.
loud to each other.
People are
We've
hearing this.
Folks are hearing it, and what I think is so beautiful about that is the accountability that we now have. And so what I, will commit to for you is speaking life into you in this calling.
Mm.
And I welcome anybody who is listening, who is rooting for us to do the same for us.
Mhm, mhm.
Because we know that when we have callings, it's not for us, it's for others. And when we have
Every
callings,
time,
every single time, and
every time.
it's divine when it's like divine, like callings by nature are divine.
Yeah.
And if God has given us these callings, then they have to take place and they're not going to be small.
Mm.
And we can't hide because that's just doing ourselves a disservice and doing the world a disservice.
And
So,
the world is in a place where it needs it. Like full circle, what we talked about earlier, opening up this call, it's
yeah,
or this episode, it is such a time where voices of light and truth have to speak up
yeah, yeah,
because the same depths that this darkness and that's just what it is, the chaos, the noise, and the darkness are can't say elevating, but they're deepening, the depths that they're
mhm,
deepening. We have to be just as elevated and bright and vocal
yeah,
because the world needs it.
yeah. You started a YouTube show called Light Work. Talk about light work.
Oh, Kylie.
You thought you got hide, didn't you?
Okay, so light work, which I actually am really excited about.
Yeah.
Um, I just need my helpers to get this out, and
Mm.
I'm actually working on that too. That is something I've committed
Mm.
to, invested in, and that's a true
Mm.
commitment to
Okay.
have help producing this podcast. But light work talks about light in 3 ways. So when I think about light, I think about illumination, which I talked about a little earlier. It brings illumination to a topic that I feel is something people need to hear about. And so the guests that I bring on are the experts in their space, and they're so going to illuminate about a topic, tell us and help us learn. Then it's also light because it's lighthearted. there's going to be some joy and play, and I'll bring in elements to bring that into the space. So it's lighthearted, it's fun, and you're still going to learn. And then it's lightweight, meaning practice well-being and leadership. I want to make sure that you release something, you let go, you don't leave the same way you came if you were heavy,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
so the lightweight will be some element of wellness and well-being that is also incorporated into the episode. And so it's light in 3 ways. Light has many meanings, and those are the ones that I'm pulling into light work. And the guests that I have on the show, I believe are light workers. I believe that they are bringing light into the world in their own way, and it's always unique and significant. And I always ask every guest, "What lights you up, and how are you bringing light into the world?"
Mm.
And so light work is all about that. It just makes me smile thinking about it.
Yeah, same here.
Yes, and, yeah, we've got 4 episodes. I am recommitting even to 2 episodes a month. That's how, and I'm saying this out loud because
Okay. It's recorded.
it's recorded, and I
Mhm.
almost want people to be like, "Where's that episode at?" Like,
Yes.
that's where I'm at with it. It is a commitment. And so I am super excited about it, and thank you for asking.
That's beautiful, and where can people find it?
So people can find it on YouTube. That's where it
Mhm.
is now. And so it is called Lightwork. And if you're just looking for the handle, it's at Capri Brand. That is the YouTube channel. And that'll be in the show notes. Make sure people can easily access
Yes,
work.
yes. Light work, we need it in the
Mhm.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about as we are coming to a close, let me take a step back and say that in a lot of our programs, what we offer to our the leaders we work with, the people that we work with, is not homework. We call it growth work.
Yeah.
And so we thought that having some growth work, as we were just talking about the loss that comes from growth and the
Mhm.
discomfort that comes with
Mhm.
growth,
Mhm.
but also the elevation that
Yeah.
comes with growth. What is one thing you think people can do over the next week to contribute to their beyonding?
Oh, such a good question. Hmm. Um, what just came to me, is actually an activity that I did in therapy with my therapist, and, it helped me really settle into this self-awareness, which is one of the things that I said I've grown in the most since the last, beyonding season, and he borrows this concept from Howard Thurman, this amazing philosopher,
Mm.
and he talks about your self-fact and your self-image. And the growth work I would invite our listeners to do is to take a piece of paper and just draw a line in the middle, and on one side write self-fact, and on the other side write self-image. And the idea is that there's these facts that have probably shaped who we are, who we've become, who we think we are, right? Which it had for me, right? The patterns and behaviors that got me to where I am today. And, a fact may be I graduated from this college, right? And so there's some self image I identify with because of this fact. What is that? Like, what self image am I now associating with this fact? And list those things out, but then start to look at what may change if this self fact change, if something changes in that, you know? If maybe you lose a job and, the self fact was you were some executive at some great company, and the image is, "I am valuable because I have this title." When that fact changes, how does that impact your self-image? What are you now seeing and thinking about yourself because something may have changed? What is
Mm.
that new association, right? Or what is that new thing that self-awareness that you now have of yourself? And so it's just an activity that I think helps us connect with maybe some of the image we've associated with facts, right? What we may consider as facts, and how do we need to maybe disassociate this
Yeah.
image you've attached to it, and what does that mean for you?
That's so good. That's so good, and it's,
Mm,
very closely tied to our identity, and,
oh,
the work that we do is rooted
absolutely.
in identity, and what we believe about ourselves drives everything. It drives everything,
Every
everything. So that's a
Mhm.
beautiful exercise, great growth work.
Yeah. Anything else coming up for you?
Whew. What is coming up for me based upon our conversation today is, in what way can you experience more self devotion?
Mhm.
Like, what does ask reflecting on that question, what does self devotion mean to you? And how can you experience that more in your
Mm,
life? And maybe it's the sacred mornings.
yeah.
Maybe it's taking more breaks during the day. Maybe it's having a nighttime routine. Maybe it's getting more sleep. But there's so many ways in which we betray ourselves,
Mm,
and
mhm,
what if instead of I know I should be doing this. I know I should be doing that. Instead of those things, turn that on its head to say, in what ways can I better express self-devotion? Like,
yeah.
if I am devoted to being my highest self, what decisions do I make?
Mhm.
What actions do I take?
Yeah.
And, see what comes up.
Mhm. I love that, Kylie. So
Yeah.
good. Not betraying ourselves. I've heard Debbie Brown refer to it as not bypassing
Ooh,
ourselves,
yeah.
choosing
Yeah.
not to bypass ourselves. So, that's
Yes, and it's a
good.
choice. It
It's
is
a
a
choice.
choice. Yes. So these are going to be we're going to have this growth work as
Yeah.
something that you can download. We have a link in the show notes for you to do that,
Mhm.
and we hope to be able to do that with every episode of this season.
'Cause we're beyonding, Kylie.
We're beyonding. This is
This
beyonding.
is beyonding. So good. I'm
Oh,
super,
Myra.
super thrilled about what's to come.
Me too, and
Yeah.
I am grateful to do this walk with you and to see what is in store for us
Yeah.
when we express some self-devotion to
Mhm.
these callings that we have on our lives.
I agree, and I'm equally committed to holding you accountable and supporting and
Mhm.
cheering you on in your
Thank you.
goals as well. So,
Thank
thank you for being a
you.
partner.
Thank you. This is so good.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Until next time, be well.